y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to talk about finishing the Dreamland Billionaire series. If you've watched the beginning of this video, you know that I have done my fair share of traveling, and it is inspired by this Dreamland Billionaire series. I was able to go to Disney World and Disneyland back to back. So the first week I went to Disney World, which is in Orlando, Florida, and I spent 4 days to 5 days just exploring the Disney World and just immersing myself in princesses and fantasy rides, enjoying my time there. The following week, I went to Disneyland, and I felt like I was in truly the happiest place on earth because Disneyland has wine. But honestly, you can't go wrong with either park. And so I wanted to make sure that I gave you a little bit of snippets throughout this video of my time at both parks, as well as me talking about the Dreamland Billionaire series, which I'm highly confident Lauren Asher based it off of both parks. That being said, I'm just going to do a quick synopsis of what I thought about book 1 and book 2 while I talk about really the final book of this series, which is what I'm reading now. So book 1 is the fine print, and this is the story of Rowan and Zara's romance. Now, this is really what got me hooked. I read this and I fell in love. This was a 5-star read. I was very skeptical that this was going to be overhyped, but let me tell you, Lauren Asher put her foot into this book. Now, Rowan is giving Walt Disney vibes right now. He is an illustrator and he is gifted with the pen. He is talented. He is pretty much been shying away from that, but he follows in his grandfather's footsteps and has the ability to make magic and put it on paper. What's interesting about this book is that he doesn't like the attention. He's not necessarily there for the glitz and glamour, but he has tried to stay away from it as long as he can until he meets Zara, which really brings him back into the joy and the love that he has for Dreamland Park. Now, Zara is everything Disney or everything Dreamland in this book. Zara is very much giving me, if I were to ever find myself in this situation, she is in love with princesses, she is in love with the magic, and she works at Dreamland, right? So she gets to be immersed in this every single day. She works for Dreamland's version of Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique as a hairstylist, and she doesn't necessarily care who Rowan is. She is just interested in the magic that is able to be produced by the park. And if he so happens to be able to make that magic happen for her, she may be falling in love with her own very Prince Charming. Now, again, I don't want to keep too much on the books because honestly, this is all about me finishing the series and me reading Final Offer. But I will tell you the second book in the series, which is Terms and Condition, was going to be my favorite. I came in with the highest of expectation. Of course, I love the fine print, so there is no way that I wasn't going to love Iris and Declan because Iris is a Black woman, and I just knew that this was a secretary and boss romance, that he is the CEO, which is normally my jam. But let me tell you, that's the only reason I do not own a physical copy is because I despise Declan with a fiery passion. This is a main male character that I feel like never got over the grumpiness. Like, he was an asshole from the beginning to the end. And I just think that Iris deserves better. Even in Final Offer, Declan is still an ass. And I just can't see me loving that. But let me go back to say each one of these books, the grandfather has left them a final will and right for them to do something in order to gain their inheritance. And so in the fine print, Rowan has to get back into the business and become an illustrator again and start to do his contribution for the Dreamland Park. And in that, again, he finds Zara and they fall in love. In terms and conditions, the stipulation for Declan is that he gets married. And so it is a marriage of convenience where Iris, who is the secretary, notices that the woman that Declan is scheduled to marry, not only do they have a loveless arrangement, but she decides that she no longer wants to go through the deal, and he is at the altar, and Iris decides to step in. Now, she is the best friend of Callahan, which is the third brother, which we'll be talking about in a moment, and this is her boss. And so she's like, hey, I actually have a crush on this man, and I think that I can step in. I'm already working for him. What's one more thing of me sacrificing of myself but to go ahead and marry this man? I don't necessarily have any prospects. And so it is a marriage of convenience with, again, a grump gentleman that winds up falling in love with Iris. Now, what's shaping to be a good ass time for me is going to be the third in the series, which is The Final Offer. This is what I'm currently reading. I'm about 43% of the way through. This is the largest book in the series. So I am doing mixed media. I'm reading it as well as listening to it in audio format. But this is a second chance romance, small town, single parent romance between Callahan, who is suffering from addiction. He is dealing with a lot of psychological issues. Obviously, their father has put a strain in each one of their relationships. So each one of the brother is not only wanting to get the inheritance and own Dreamland, but they're trying to keep it out of their father's hands. He decided to leave the love of his life, Lana, but he never got over her. He's been carrying her picture around in his wallet for years. And the stipulation of his letter is that he goes back to live. So again, this is where the forced proximity happens. He goes back to live for the summer in the home that is his childhood home where Lana happens to reside. And this is news to Callahan because he had no idea that his grandfather had actually deeded the property to Lana. And so he's trying to figure out a way for them to coexist and him to be able to sell the home. Now, Lana doesn't want to leave. This is her home. This is what was entitled to her and where she grew up, and she had the last memories of her mother, who is now deceased. She is holding on to not only the memories of her mother and her childhood, but the memories of the love she had for Callahan. And this is their touching romance of them determining what broke them apart and whether or not they can get back together. So I will come back to you with additional thoughts as I finish the book. But in the meantime, I'm going to tell you to enjoy some clips from Disneyland until I talk to you all next time. Y'all, so I'm back with my final thoughts on Final Offer. I have finally finished this one, and I'm going to tell you this one is middle of the pack for me. So fine print is still going to be number one. I knew going in nothing was going to beat this one, but as I started this one, I truly thought Final Offer was going to give the fine print a run for its money because this started off so damn strong. It came out the gate with like detail after detail after detail, hit after hit. But I'm going to tell you one of the things I think about this, and I'll break it into like a pros and cons list. But the first thing I'm going to tell you is that this book is exceptionally long. Like, it is longer than necessary for me. Now, I have never been the one that says, oh, something could use an edit, or we could have done without 100 or 150 pages. But I truly do feel that one. when it comes to the final offer. I understand that second chance romance takes a while to build up the believability that these two are loved each other and that they went through something that broke them apart. And so you have to build that with your readers and make sure that they can feel that the love has always been there and try to believe that the two deserve to be together. I fully get that and I fully understand it. I just felt like I did not get enough in order for me to satisfy this being nearly 600 pages. For me, I think that there's things that could have been cut out that still would have given me that believability factor. However, I will tell you that the actions that you get to see, the small details of Callahan, carrying things that always have meant something to him in recognition of Alana. For him to make those small details and making sure to have Cammy fall in love with him and have it not just be about Lana. Those details in a single parent's romance for sure make all of the world of a difference for me. And I will tell you that the believability, while again it took quite a while to build, I can see the way in which Lauren Asher built those details in and how she made every little moment and every little interaction between them count. So for that, I will say this is truly strong in the second chance romance. It's just, I really wish it was a little bit shorter of a book to give me that higher rating, right? I think that she could have packed a punch way more if she would have shortened this up. Don't get me wrong, this has some really great details. In addition, like I said, there are times in which a lot of people do not necessarily want to see kids in their single parent romance, but him and Cammy's relationship or Camila's relationship is so beautiful. And to be able to see a child get there happily ever after really did help me, especially when it comes to the context of Dreamland. If Lana did not take the family to the castle to see princesses, to get that full experience, it would have been a missed opportunity. Lauren Asher built this entire world, again, very reminiscent of Disney, that helps me to see the magic at play. I really love that. One of the things I love selfishly is that I got to see Rowan again and got to see Zara, got to see Iris, and unfortunately Declan was there. But I loved being able to see everything kind of culminates in this third book with them being back at Dreamland and them being able to, put everything for good use. You get to see that Zara is still doing the things that she loves and she gets to interact with Camila and build that family relationship and that dynamic, right? This is also a found family book. So if you like that, again, Final Offer is definitely the book for you to pick up. I thought it was beautifully done. One other con I will say is that there were some things that were done in the epilogue that I personally did not need, nor did I like, but I get it, right? I am always an epilogue reader. I'm going to read it if it is there. However, this one did not need the epilogue for me, but again, you can decide to skip that if you want. I will tell you one of the things, again, that is very thematic about Lauren Asher is that she does not half step when it comes to the grand gestures. Again, these are billionaires and she has no qualms about making their grand gesture the biggest things that could have ever happened in the lives. There is no grander gesture than the one that Callahan offers to Lana in this book. And that cemented that these two are just a beautiful couple, that it's less about the things that they have and more about the things that they bring to one another. Lana never wavered throughout the entire book for me. She was there for all of the right reasons. I love Lana. I did struggle sometimes because she wasn't listening to one of the things that I thought about. When it came to the home, she was very centered about her needs, her wants. But there was something important that Callahan mentioned that I just don't think Lana was ever grasping. But truly, I could not fault Lana because she has memories that's tied to the home. She has memories that's tied to everything that she went through in her life. And she honestly deserved everything. I will say Lauren Asher makes sure that these women are treated like princesses as they deserve to be. And it is beautiful to be able to see that Cal was able to give her everything and more, but Lana never asked. All she asked was for Cal to get better, for him to never leave or waver, because she does suffer from abandonment issues, and Cal knew that, right? And so Lana always just said, hey, I just want you to love me and mine. We are a package deal at this point, and Cal did exactly that. If you are looking to read Dreamland Billionaire romance series, I will tell you it is a solid series. Again, if I go for the order, it's going to go the fine print number 1, final offer number 2, and then terms and conditions as number 3. I enjoyed reading this, and I will be picking up Lauren Asher's F1 series, as possibly also reading the redesign series, because we get to meet the new character that is going to be in her book in the final offer. So I'm going to ask that you give me a castle emoji for Dreamland, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.